Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday. We are here with StudioR12 Stencils, and I am Patty.
I'm Carrie.
And we're going to DIY today. We're going to answer your questions. This is all about you guys, so please ask questions. We want to hear what you have to say. We want to give you answers to your DIY problems, thoughts, solutions for things, that kind of stuff. We have really cool things to share with you today. I'm kind of really excited about this.
I am super excited about it. We have been releasing our fall and Halloween collections. And so we have some fun new designs for Halloween, and we're going to give you some ideas of how to use those today.
Yeah, and actually, so these ideas will work for everything in these projects, and we'll get to that in just a second, but it will work for Christmas, it will work for Halloween, it will work for fall, it will work for every day.
Yeah.
It will work for inspiration, it will work for all of it.
Yeah, so even if Halloween's not your jam, we know we've had a lot of people tell us, I don't pay for Halloween, but this is still a really good lesson of how to
This is a great lesson. Yeah, you need to know the stuff we're going to tell you today.
And I've been painting a lot of samples, so I expect every one of you to stay on here.
Carrie was a powerhouse. Interesting, right? So 1, 2, 3, she got 3 projects completely done, painted, based, glittered, sanded, and everything in like 1 hour.
Yeah.
So stencils do save you time. They save you mess. They save you problems. They save you repetitive. They save work. They save worry. Like they're an answer to a lot of things. So, but it makes it fast.
And I probably could have gotten them done faster. She was also filming. So I was moving cameras and moving things in shots. So I could have done.
So imagine 3 projects completely finished from start to finish in 45 minutes to an hour. I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Super impressive.
Thank you.
I know, right?
Thanks. I appreciate that. If everyone could give me thumbs up.
Thumbs up, everybody.
No, I'm totally kidding. So let's have some fun today. We have a lot of things to talk about. I'm going to be as quick as I can because we're hungry. So,
what are you eating for lunch
yes,
today?
let us know. No, because you don't see it. I sit here and everyone's like telling me all their good things they're eating. So if you are not following us subscribed on YouTube, we highly recommend that. That is where we post a lot of our videos.
Yeah.
And we have our lives every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And then on Saturdays, we release more succinct videos that are lesson videos, project videos, technique videos, a lot of different things. We've had some really great ones lately, including last week, Patty did a Hello Fall doormat.
You guys, we game changered this thing.
We
if
did
you didn't see it, you need to see it because everybody paints on floor mats, on the entry mats, you know, the ones you wipe your feet on. They all paint on those, but they all do them on that brown color.
Yes.
So I flipped it on its lid and I found a shortcut brush.
And you can pick it up right there if you want.
Ladies and gentlemen, the shortcut brush.
The shortcut brush that we just introduced over the weekend.
Yes. So this is, pay attention to, we still this camera? Okay, so pay attention to how firm that is. And then look at how the shape is. It's a dome, go figure, right? So this is a dome brush, and it's a blue ice is what its name is blue ice. This is made for the furniture waxing universe, okay? So that's where this came from. A lot of the furniture waxing brushes, just like stencil brushes, I don't know why they do this, are flat. Okay, so then this one is done in a dome. There are others that are also domed, but this is made with a synthetic fiber, so it's super dense and super easy to do some stippling. So I was using this to base the entire floor mat, and I was like, wait, there has to be a better way. So that's how I learn things, is I go looking for better solutions. I tried our China stippler brush, but watch this, right? So this is super wobbly. It just wiggle. And so it just kind of laid paint on top. You'll see it in the video. So just do watch that video, even if you only watch the base coat part. But you'll see me changing to this. It went from probably 1 hour to base the whole thing to 10 minutes. So just one brush just makes a huge difference in time. and then it cleaned out like a champ, and it's amazing. So we'll be talking more about this brush in the future, but it is available on the website.
Yep.
It is available on the website.
It is available on the website, and there are only a few left.
Yeah. So if you want it, get it now, and if you want it later, you can go back later and get it then.
And I'm going to give a shout out to our friend Amy, who just happens to be in Gallia County today.
Amy?
Working on her project of the month from
Oh,
August.
that's so cool.
And they're having a girls' day working on their projects together.
That's
so
so amazing.
welcome to town. We are excited to have
That's
you.
so cool.
And we're excited to see your guys' projects. Our projects of the month went out last
We'll
week.
be over at Courtside in
Yeah.
about an hour.
If you wanna join us
to
for
come
lunch.
sit with us.
Our project of the month went out last week, and we have been having people send us some incredible pictures already that they have loved them. We are
You
going to
guys,
share.
it's great.
We'll
It's
share some sneak peek stuff with you soon, so you can kind of have an idea before we release our next one, which is
next
also
one,
coming soon.
Yeah, you want to make sure you're signed up for the newsletter on Studio, the letter R, the number 12.com, and that is how you're going to be notified of all the new things. So you're here on Tuesday, you get notified of the new things, but you can't make it on Tuesday, so you miss the new brush announcement, or you miss this, or you miss that. The newsletter is where you're not going to miss anything, because it'll stay in your inbox till you can open it, or you can delete it and get it out of there. It doesn't matter. So like, whatever you need to do, but it's at your leisure.
Yeah.
And the videos here are also at your leisure, but sometimes it's quicker to skim than to participate.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like tomato, I guess.
Agreed. Next on YouTube this weekend, I'm going to leave it covered. You want me to
Let's
show
leave
it?
it covered.
Leave it covered. We're painting on cutting boards.
And they're not just any cutting boards. You guys, the Dollar Tree has come out with the Dollar Tree and more. So we're in Gallipolis, Ohio, which means that we're in, the backwoods of the universe. And so that means that many of you from cities, if you've already had Dollar Tree Plus, or was that what it's called, Dollar Tree Plus? And more, or something
Maybe.
like that. And more.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, you guys tell us what it is. Anyway, so they came out with a whole new line of very lovely, durable, sturdy, wonderful surfaces. And one of them was the bamboo cutting board. And I think it was either $3 or $5, so they're very nominally priced, but great gifts. And I'm going to show you this weekend on Saturday how to do unique things, but still keep it so that you can use it as a cutting board. So you'll have to catch us on Tuesday for that.
Catch us on Tuesday. We did have a question about our
Tuesday. Tuesday's live. Saturday is that video. Sorry about that.
Today is Tuesday.
Yeah.
Our friend Catherine asked that she said that she has the paint color chart and some of the colors that we had mentioned are discontinued, and asked if they've been replaced on some of the DecoArt colors.
colors, yeah.
Well, we still are. That's the color that we got it from.
Yeah.
So we are still going to keep that on our paint color guide.
And honestly, like I have my bins of paint. Will you go grab one of those bins? I think it's super interesting. It's a neat way to store paint if you have all of them. But my bins of paint are from 5 to 20 years old, and I just keep the lid closed when I paint, and I am fine. So like my number, whatever the number is.
This is just bee colors.
Yeah, this is
That's the bees. Just so you guys know what we're dealing with here.
This is the bees. So I put we got a Post-it note on the front of it, and everything that is the letter B goes in here. And then I just find it by its little color code or whatever. And you can see I have quite a bit of, what do I have, burnt umber here, because it's something that I use quite a bit of when I need it. But, so this is how I do it. I have like 8 totes. Some of the letters have less paints. So they get like LMNO will be one bin, and they'll just be interspersed. But it's a great way to just be like, I need my B color name. If you need the number, then I have a book that is organized by color family, but numbers and that kind of thing. So welcome to how many ways you can organize your paints.
So someone had commented, I'd love to see how you store all of those. So all of ours are in the bins like Patty had, and then they are on a shelving unit like the one behind me, and we do them alphabetized, or if there is a special collection, like if there's a glow in the dark or a neon or something like that, and we have the whole collection, we do try to keep those together.
Yeah, so we have like the metallic paints will have their own bin, and the lusters will have their own bin. So they're like with like. Fabric paints have their own bin. Glitter paints, they get their own. IKEA has, if you have an IKEA near you, the floor mats that we painted on last week were from IKEA, super affordable. And the bins, I think they're called samlas. They're down in the kitchen supply or the organizey stuff, and they don't have a snap-on lid, but they're super affordable, like super affordable. And I just got all the same kinds, so all the lids interchange and all of that. And I did that probably 10 years ago, and it's worked for me ever since. And it makes it super simple. Everybody can find things. It's not a complex system.
Yeah.
I love all the other systems that there are. If you have a really great system, I'd love it if you would share in the comments, because there's not just one way. That's just the way that I stumbled into that worked, and so why change it if it isn't broken?
Agree.
Yeah.
And speaking of what works, it's been a while since Patty's done a in-person painting event. We announced it, I think, last week that we are hosting one here in Guyatt County, Ohio in October. I just shared the link so you can grab your ticket. We only have a few seats left.
Yeah, you guys, it's going to be so this is basically our gift to everybody that's coming. You're going to pay a little bit of money to do it, but you're going to be gifted by it. There's so much that we have planned, and the value is way larger than anything. Just when we keep talking about, we're like, we should probably stop talking.
It keeps getting bigger.
It keeps getting better. So know that you are going to be treated like queens and kings, and note that it's going to be fun. And this is the weekend that has that weekend in October, over the 15th, 13th, 15th?
13th and 14th.
Yeah, 13, 14 of October is when this is, and the park will be beautiful. The park is always beautiful. But there are the Rockets Over Briar, which is like 20 minutes from here, 15 minutes from here, and they have a big fireworks display. We have the Bob Evans Farm Festival, which is all handmade everything, and it's big.
And it's right beside where Rockets Over Rio is.
Right by Rockets Over Rio. And then it's also the flea market, you guys. If you love a good flea market, and if you travel with your spouse that loves a flea market, this flea market has things for boys and girls and everybody in between. It has all the good stuff for whatever your interest is. It's vast.
Yes.
It's a good, and it's the last one, I think, isn't it the last? No, there's one more.
It's the biggest one because of there being people in town to do some of the other events.
Yeah, that's
it is
why.
always
Yeah.
it is always the biggest one. And I also believe it is kind of like the holiday themed one as well. So there are holiday things typically there. And then we also have booked a reservation at one of our favorite wineries in Guyatt County.
Glorious winery. We have two really great wineries, but one of them, in my opinion, is very glorious, and they've done everything right. So shout out to Twisted Vine.
Yeah.
And all right,
you want to paint? Okay, so I have just shared links for you guys for the Halloween collection and today's collection. So our Halloween collection, we are still adding things to. There were several things just added this morning.
Yeah.
So I have added those to our Halloween collection, and the entire collection is marked down. And it's been marked down for a couple weeks, but we're leaving it on there. And for when we add new things, you can see it. And then I also shared a link for today's live Q&A with some other products, which you're going to understand soon, because we're doing a little mix and match today.
You guys, this is really cool stuff. So let's get into showing examples. Steve, am I going to go here or here with examples?
Wherever you look.
Wherever I look. Oh my gosh. So let's just keep it right here right now. So this is an example. Carrie did the glitter over the top of, this is the 3D surface. So this has a piece. Do you have an extra?
One that's here.
Lanky piece. Yeah. So the 3D piece comes like this, and in the different cases, they have different cutout bits and stuff, and then it fits this round, okay? And then it leaves you a blank space. one of the things, all you have to do is go look at Pinterest and search round door hangers, and you will see that the trend is to cut the door hanger in a space, which I'm going to show you how to do today, and make one part one color, one part the other color, and back behind the ribbon rack on the Hello Fall. That's a really good example of that, and so that is us marrying a raised word with a stencil for fall and then the cheetah print. Okay, so that is how you can do that. So that is with the glitter, and then what Carrie did is over the top, she did black glitter on glue, and then she sprayed it with the Krylon 1311 matte, and then that makes it so that glitter stays on it and not on you.
Yeah.
You're welcome for that. Your husband's, well, oh, thanks.
Tip of the day.
Tip of the
However,
day.
that being said, I looked down at my arm when I sat down, and I do have black glitter all over me.
Yeah, well, that's because you were the painter.
Yes, it's not all over everywhere, but it's all over me.
Okay, and then this really gets into, this is a super kind of creepy overlay, but it's just super fun because a lot of people get into the creepiness of Halloween. But this stencil and all of these stencils do not come with this surface. So these are basically things that were part of other stencils. They were things that were other word stencils by themselves.
Yes.
They're pattern stencils.
Which one do you have?
I've got Beware.
Yep, so that's Beware, and that actually had a little gargoyle over it. The one that you use, the Happy Halloween, actually had some bats with it.
So cool.
And then if you want to show the next one that I
Yes.
had painted, the full one, yep. That haunted house had bats with it, and I shrunk it closer together because it wasn't going to fit in my hole.
It wasn't going to fit where we had the space, so she did the top word and then pulled it up to do the bottom word.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then this one is weathered. This one has embellishments.
Yep.
And so you can do, like Bob's your uncle. So we really want you to remember that your stencils aren't what they are. So for example, this is, so if we were talking fall, Christmas, any of it, any stencil you have, it can be part of your stencil. In the case of what I'm going to demonstrate, this has got a hat and a boo and some stuff down here. And I'm only going to use the boo. So this is super neat technique to know how to just kind of intersperse your stencils with each other. And then we also are going to show you how to use your backgrounds with it. And I want to talk about the Happy Planner. This is for the disc planners. These little rings are disc planner rings. This is a punch. It punches the disc planner holes. And then you can make books out of your stencils. Okay, and they just flip just like a book. And then this one has adhesive, but even the adhesive isn't really bugging anything. It just comes apart really nicely. It is a lovely, lovely system. And so this is a pattern book. You can make, when you're brand new and you only have like one kind of thing, you can make just one book that has your stencils in it. But then once you get maybe a lot of patterns, you can have one for patterns, you can have one for words, you can have one for whatever. And then you've got them organized by style. And then they lay super nicely on top of each other. And then you can intersperse the colors of the rings so that you can tell them apart. I've got one in there, I think that's Christmas, that's red and white little rings. And you can get a case, a big box of the rings on Amazon for a very, very affordable price. But this one's all my words. So you could take all your words and put them into one so that you can find things. And that is a really great way to organize your stencils. Okay, now let's paint some. So today what I'm going to show you is how to paint something two colors. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I would do if I were painting this. And then Carrie's going to talk about some other stuff. So I've got some little ghosty ghosts. Aren't they so cute? The overlays are amazing, and I'm going to show you how to paint these in just a minute. But I'm going to lay this down. I did my orange coat because orange is difficult to base coat, and this is a tip, this is a pro tip. Carrie based this in the number 56 color. And so like, look at even just that. Like that doesn't look anything like what it's near. She based this one just straight on the wood, and she based this one over number 23. Okay, so those two colors, this cuts the brown color of the wood and it helps illuminate the orange. So that is a big pro tip if you have a color that's not covering. And then this is 2 coats of the number 23 and 2 coats. I used a roller for the top coat because it smooths it out really well. 2 coats of number 56.
Well, and you could also put Haunted House beside it.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
though it is distressed, I did not undercoat that one.
That's amazing.
So that does show the difference side by side.
That's the difference between the gray. That's crazy.
Yeah, and we typically will use gray for colors like yellow, reds, oranges, some pinks.
Yeah, the gray is absolutely killer for any of the things with pigments that are super strong and saturated. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, these guys are going to be black, and this guy is getting, who's black?
The bottom.
The bottom is black? What color are these? We
White.
have this planned out. Ah!
White. The ghosts go white.
Okay, ghosts are white.
The
That makes sense.
Underneath the ghost is black.
Okay.
And then the
Got
top
it.
gets the pattern.
I don't think I caught the underneath the ghost part. Okay, so this is our triple threat Ghost Rider, speaking of ghosts.
Which just came back in stock.
And they are in stock right now. Guys, you need this tool. This tool is amazing. I've been using it for easily 10 years. And I think way more easily 10 years, maybe 15. And it's incredible. So I'm going to get this lined up on here. The nice thing about doing this technique is this is going to be my ruler. I don't have to do any weird measuring stuff, and I just made my line on there. And then I'm going to take a piece of my Mylar that we use. I cut it. It comes in a really long piece, so it comes like that. And I usually cut it in thirds, and it's palette paper. So it's just our scrap Mylar that we have made available to you guys. And I'm going to line that up. They're laser cut edges, so they're going to be perfectly straight. I'm going to line that up. Get it where I want. I think, did I nudge that? And then we're going to tape in 2 places. So I don't want to tape it in one place. One place will let the stencil wiggle around, and we don't want that. So we're going to get our black, and I'm going to show you how to use this straight edge to base your project.
So quick question from Cindy. Does a mix of black and white work for a gray base coat?
Yeah, absolutely. If you wanted to mix something in this value. So if white is our out in the sunlight number 10, because we go on a scale from 1 to 10, black is in the basement, white is up in the daylight. And so this is like 1 step down or 2 steps down from your white. So you just need to put a little bit of black in a big puddle of white, and that will make your color, and that would work perfectly. And this doesn't, sometimes your grays can be blue gray, sometimes your grays can be, you know, all kinds of other colors, but the gray is neutral, which is what we like, but it can be any kind of gray.
And the reason we use gray rather than white, especially with our reds, is because it can turn it pink.
Yeah.
And so that's why we just love the gray for that.
Okay, so now I'm going to hold my stencil down even though I have it taped, and then I'm going to kick my paint off in the direction away from my stencil. And I want to just kind of not have a lot of paint on my my brush. So if I need to, I could just give it a little blot, little blotty poo. And now I'll just continue it down. So the reason I'm showing you this is because using a piece of tape on a freshly painted surface can be a problem because it will lift your paint. So I do have tape up here. I did blow dry it a lot, but I just wanted to show you how not to have, I don't have this like taped across. And then if you peel that off, you might as well just sand and start all over because it's not gonna, you can't fix it.
Well, and this is the half rounds, the quarter rounds, the diagonal rounds with the different colors is one of the most popular trends still.
I haven't seen as popular a trend as the rounds with the lines through them. Everybody's doing it everywhere.
Yes, and it's also important to remember when you're doing this, think ahead. If you are going to be using a light color and a dark color, think ahead to painting the light color first, like we did with the orange.
And let it cure for a week.
And then let it cure, and then paint the dark over top of it.
So then you can tape and do whatever you like.
We have absolutely not thought ahead of this and painted the black first and then tried to paint the other color over top of it and have had to just start over because we couldn't get it based.
All right, so I'm going to move that aside, and Carrie's going to talk about a bunch of stuff she's got to say.
Yes, so can I have you give me the ones that I have painted? So before we get started with these, so talking about the Halloween collection that I mentioned a few minutes ago, one cool thing that we did this year with our Halloween collection is that once we introduced some of these, we decided not only did we want them to be wood pieces, we also made stencils from some of them. So not only can you get the bat with the spider web as a wood cutout, you can also get it as a stencil cutout. And we are listing some of those. Those are some of the new ones we're listing right now. So we do have some of those that will be either or. So as we're talking about the different ways to paint these, I did some that were super duper basic, and then I did some that were a little more difficult. So the black and red one is one that is super basic. I just painted the red background, and then I used the Jumbo Dauber, which is what Patty is using to base coat the cutout portion of it. And trust us when we tell you that you do not want to use a brush when you are painting.
You can use a brush, but you're going to be there for a long time.
You're going to be there for a long time, and you're not going to be happy with it.
You're going to be sad.
So the brush is also going to increase your chances of bleeding under, or not bleeding under, but bleeding over the edges.
Yeah, bleeding under and bleeding over, right?
Yeah. So when you are working on some of those edges, it is easy to fix in some places. If you bleed over the ghosts around the outer edge, then it is possible to fix it. However, if you bleed underneath the ghost's arm, between a ghost's arm and a ghost's head, then it is going to be a little bit messy. And go ahead.
So know what I'm doing. I have the Jumbo Dauber. Note it's also domed. Everything is domed in the stencil world, or it should be. And if you're not using dome things, you need to be. And I'm just not even going to apologize for that blanket statement. It's a fact. Okay, so, but I'm using just a little bit of paint, pick it up, daub, 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 just offload just a little bit. And then I come and tap. I'm not pushing. So if we look on my hand, we'll go maybe, you want to do that? Okay, so if I'm pushing, I'm going to push first. Then I get this big old blob of stuff. If I'm tapping, I get that. Notice how faint and soft that is. This has a ring around it and all the other things. So I'm just tap, 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 tapping and barely pushing. I'd rather do 2 or 3 fast coats than 1 heavy coat.
Agreed. And then the more paint you get on it, so as you are adding paint to your dauber, try to keep the paint in the center portion of the sponge, because when you start to get it around the edges, then it can increase your chances of bleeding over an edge, which is where it gets messy. Now it can be fixed, and we'll show you a couple ways toward the end here that you can finish these off if you do have a little bit of messes. I did some a little messy so that we could show you some examples. So let's talk about with the glitter that I used on this one. I painted a white background. I did 3 layers with my Happy Halloween stencil so I could make it really dark, bold. And then I painted just 1 layer of black on this portion that has the spider webs. And I only needed to do 1 because I knew that I was glittering it. So we did the the paint, we did a layer of the tacky glue that is the Elaine's brand. And I went ahead and just added that the same way that I added the paint. So I just used an ink sweeper or a jumbo dauber, which we have both in stock, by the way.
And you need a, Carrie, when she did these, she used like 10 of the jumbo daubers and the ink sweepers, and just because you can't mix the colors and they can't be wet when you use them.
Right.
It's not optimal to be wet. So having a container of a few of them is a really good idea.
Yes. Debbie asked, will doing that with the dauber work when using a stencil? So
yes, we have a video on that. 7 ways to use sponges or something.
A lot of, well, I think we did ways to apply paint through a stencil, maybe it's in that one. So yes, we do use it through a stencil. We don't use it through a stencil a lot.
We don't use it all the time because the brush is easier.
Yes.
You can swirl, and that is nicer. Now I'm using the ink sweeper. This is why you need an ink sweeper, is because of long skinny things. So I'm just gonna go along. And just like I'm walking on a balance beam from when I was 12 years old in gymnastics, and I'm just gonna keep my little tail right on top of that beam. And you just tap, tap, tap. And this works really good when you have big, skinny areas like tea-towel banding stencils, which by the way are one of our #1 stencils.
Absolutely.
You know, that is the most useful stencil on planet Earth for everything. It is just, you have to have banding things. I just put fingerprints on my ghost. Don't touch your ghost when he's tacky. Don't touch tacky ghosts.
Speaking of ghosts, with our Halloween collection this year, we have some new ghost embellishment stencils that are super cute. They come with you get a sheet, and it has a sheet.
Dun, dun, dun.
You get a sheet of 5 different ghost shapes, and then it comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 ghost faces. So then you can mix and match your faces, you can mix and match your ghost shapes, and you can use them anywhere. But we also have pet ghosts this year. So we have an embellishment stencil that has 4 different pets. So there's a couple cats and a couple dogs, and then they have little ghost pet faces, and it's super cute.
All right, so I'm going for round 2 on the colors, and just make sure that I'm not putting too much excess. And then I'm in my white and black paper towel, so I flipped it over so I don't put the white with the black and make the gray. And we're just gonna repeat. Probably this will be the last coat. And you can see, Steve, can you get this like line? Yeah, so this is super powerful, guys. This is giving us an absolute distinct line right there. Those tea-towel stripes that we were talking about earlier would be fantastic for banding a project like this. Say you flubbed up a line or did something like that, although we have banding built into our wood pieces. But you can use the tea-towel stripes for banding as well as tea-towels. Love, love, love. Ooh, and I got just a little bit of white on. I don't know if I got it from my hand.
So Catherine asked, the Happy Halloween sign has glue on it and then the glitter added. So yes, the Happy Halloween itself was just stenciled with no glitter. And then the embellishment portion, I painted 1 layer of black, and then I did a layer of glitter using the a layer of glue. I'm not used to talking this much during these. A layer of glue with the jumbo dauber, and then I added the glitter. So actually, with this being such a large piece, I did piece it out. So I did a little section with glue and then added glitter. Then
don't put all your glue down at once, or
no, when you're doing something this big, I just did it section by section and then was able to do it. So with this, I glued this to my I put on my glitter, and then I glued it to the big surface, and then I did the Krylon spray. I'm going to recommend that if you are glittering an overlay, to glitter it and then use the Krylon and then glue it on your
down.
piece. Because when I did use the Krylon, since it is a spray, some of the glitter did come off on my background.
yeah.
So I do have a little bit of glitter.
Yeah, you could use a light sanding, like a 220 or something like that, to just kind of schmutz that glitter schmutz off of there. Okay, so this isn't a perfect background, but it's going to be under those overlays. So I'm going to call it right there. That brush goes in the water. I'm going to lift this off, and you can see how absolutely perfect that makes it. So the edges of all of your stencils come with really straight, flat, long lines. All of them can be used like this piece of Mylar was used here, and it can be your tape mark. So don't be afraid to use your stencils as the masking piece or the tape. And now I'm going to give this one shot with the blow dryer because that is super tacky still. They're tacky ghosts. Remember, don't mess with tacky ghosts.
So all of our wood embellishment things that we are showing you today come with two pieces. They come with a 15-inch wood round, and then they come also with the half overlay. So those all come in a set, and 15 inches is the only size that we are offering with that. Now,
15 inches is like the standard for this.
Yes. And then with the stencil portion of it, so with the half embellishment rounds that are going to come in stencils, those are going to range from 4 inches all the way up to 18 inches. So those are going to come small enough that you could use it on a coaster, or you could use it on an 18-inch round if you would want to make a really big one.
I want to talk about, we are really, I'm going to use a couple more reallys there. We'll just know that there's like 5 more reallys after that. Encouraging you guys to use your stencils that you have, stencils that say the things with other things. And then I'm going to show you in just a few minutes how to use a scaling background pattern stencil. So it's got little X's in the corners or T's in the corners, and this shows you where to put your stencil to get it so that it scales across your project so that you can see how to do that. So we're taking a pattern stencil, we're doing a background, we're taking half and half, and we're making two colors. We're using an overlay, include another color. We're going to use part of this other stencil to layer up. So don't be afraid. I just want to liberate everybody that thinks that you have to do the stencil as it does or as it is, and know that you can use all the different parts. If you have a tire, it can become a floating device for a pool sign. So think that way. Like, what do I have in my stencil collection that's round? What do I have that says squirrely, lettery fonts that I want to put as a background? Think outside the stencil.
Agreed. And with our collection, with our link for our live collection for the day, we did add the wood round projects to it. We also added all of the stencils that I cut for today that were possibilities. So the haunted house, we have a really cute spooky season that Elaine made with a mock-up with one of these designs. And we have May Your Halloween Always Be Spooky, Be Afraid, Be Very Afraid. So these are all just some examples of things that you could use. Beware, Home Sweet Haunted Home. It's the most spectacular time of year. Another variation of Home Sweet Haunted Home. So with the collection for today's live, we are giving you examples of some things that you could use with these.
All right, when you get ready to be done with your overlay stuff, with your 3D pieces, these are going to go into the water, and I'm going to use whatever brushes I have in my water to hold them down. That is a Carrie invention. So super great idea. So then I need to spend 1 minute on the blow dryer for this guy. So you will notice, I notice it myself all the time. I don't know if you guys have picked up on it. When I blow dry, I am always like kind of either I'm holding the air on and I'm blowing towards my hand, or I'm feeling across my project. I do it every time I blow dry. I don't even know where I got that habit. However, when you've been painting on your hand, you want to be really careful not to streak across your blow drying project. So that might still be tacky. So that is just a little bit wet, but it's not sticking to my hand. So we're going to go ahead and do our polka dots. Polka dots are white?
Yes.
Yes.
Word
is
polka
white.
dots are black.
black.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't pay attention.
I'm so confused now.
I did not pay attention. Carrie's glitter did not get wiped off this table.
It did. I wiped it off and I blow dried it off.
You guys, glitter is like, I don't want to say the example of the example, but glitter
I removed everything from the table.
It's so
I blow dried it and I wiped it.
It's still here. It's still here. And that's just glitter, guys. That's glitter. Okay, so see, I'm going to need to walk this over. So I'm going to get this where I think it's interesting on my edges. And I'm going to make sure it's, maybe I want to lift it so that I have maybe these bottom, this is going to be my ruler with these bottom circles. And then I'm going to give it a little tape on the orange side because the black we know is still. So if I tape it just here, I do this all the time and show you guys all the time, this is what would happen. Okay, so let me get that back where I want it. And now I go here, and now I have it very, very tight. Okay, so that is under control. And now we're doing black polka dots, so we're gonna go into, we're gonna get a fresh paper towel because that's got white and I can't see the white on my paper towel. You could let that paper towel dry and then go back on top of that paper towel. But if I pick up the white with my black, I'm going to end up with gray, and it's not going to be pretty.
A lot of people are saying glitter is insane, glitter is forever, glitter is eternal, glitter is the infectious disease of the craft room.
That's the one I was going with.
Glitter is the worst. My husband can tell when I've glittered, as he says, the bathroom floor is glittering. I feel like we need to make some stickers.
Yeah. Too fun. Those of you who have been ordering, we have been sending out the fan decks. And I want to know what you guys think about this. That has been something that I think is cool. So like, don't go by me. Don't tell me things just to be like nice. But I'd love to know what you think because I think they're amazing. So each, every-ish 20 to 40 days, you'll get a different one of these little guys, and it comes with a little keychain, and you can make your own little pattern fan deck out of them, and they come in with your order with a little sweet treat. It's really sweet.
Glennis says that she loves the free stencils that are coming.
Yay!
Patty says, a former kindergarten teacher pro tip, when applying glitter, put your project into a short box that will contain most of the glitter.
Good
so that
idea.
is a good idea. I did mine today on a piece of the palette paper, which was a fun, different way to use the palette paper so that it didn't get all over the table. And then we have this cool little tool. Whoa! We have this cool little tool that I will share an Amazon link to. It is a tray. And when I was done with my glitter, I picked up my palette paper and put all of the glitter into this tray. And then it has a little button at the end that you can take the cap off of.
Glitter is also more expensive than blood. So make sure you harvest your glitter when you're done, and this is how you do it.
Yeah, so then once you take the cap off of it, you put it right into the glitter tube, and then you shake it off, and it goes right back into the tube. We've all tried to make funnels, and I mean, anytime you use glitter, trying to save it, this has worked really wonderful.
All right, so I'm going to do coat number 2 on these, and then I'm going to show you how to scale it. And actually, I had a moment. I don't care what color my hair is. I had a gray moment. We're going to call it gray moment today, and Elaine fixed it for me and taught me the logic of her ways. She is wise, and I was being silly. But this is her solution. That is exactly what the solution needed to be, and I just wasn't thinking. All right, so we got a second coat going on here. Notice I'm swirling. I don't have a lot of paint on my brush, and I don't care if these are, if you want them super black, then you would go and you would stipple them. You don't have to do the da-da-da-ing while you're doing it.
You do.
Okay, so now we're gonna peel this up, and you'll hear the. And look how cool that is.
Look how cute.
You guys, this is what stencils are for. This is what stencils are for,
Agreed.
because if you had to do that by hand, like you can be the most pro painter in every way, but if you needed a background with bats, dots, cracked glass, wood grain, any of those things, and you needed to paint that in a big enough area, you need a stencil. You need something that is done by a machine.
Right. Well, especially if you are, we have a lot of people who tune into our lives and videos that are painting for craft shows.
Yeah.
And so if you
Can you
have,
imagine doing this on a
if
scale?
you have to make 10 of those and have to hand paint those dots, whoa.
You wouldn't get, they wouldn't look good. You could do them with the back of your brush. Makes a really good, there's the dotting tool that we've introduced. But then you're gonna wait 100,000 years for them to dry.
Dry, yeah.
Yeah, drying. Okay, so now let's show you the pro tip on how you, Elaine's tip, on how you, let's see if we're basically dry. So you lay it over and you just line it up with the rest of your little dots. And I'm actually gonna flip it over because my tape's over there. And I was like, so there are these little crosses or pluses in the corners. And I was like, but wait, my surface is round. This won't work for me, you know? And she was like, Patty, just lay them over each other. I'm just like, oh, that is so smart.
Chrissy asked what size brush we are using. This is our
5/8.
5/8.
Always 5/8 for Patty.
Yes, so
I use the small ones sometimes.
our brushes come in 5 different sizes, ranging from teeny, teeny, tiny to the 5/8. So the 5/8 is our biggest.
teeny, teeny,
Teeny, teeny, tiny.
That's, what is that? 1/8, 1/4?
Yeah, that's
1/8.
An eighth.
Yeah.
And so the 5/8 brush is the size that we use the most. It covers a lot of ground,
It
and
does.
we are typically painting big projects. Now, I love the little brushes for when
Cards
we're
and
doing
stuff,
cards or painting small details. They come in handy. Doing some different flowers and leaves. If you are going to be doing different colors on your flowers or on your projects and they have small details, I did a video of how to paint small details. Let me find it, and that will be beneficial.
So this, laying it over and then just doing the details is magic. I was thinking about this earlier. So we send out newsletters in the email and stuff, and we try really hard to make them informative and that kind of thing. So earlier I was working on my schedule of emails and things. And when I was doing that, I was like, ooh, what size would I want a pattern stencil to be? And I was like, if I was to choose a pattern stencil, I would probably choose 6x6 and 12x12. And so if you had to choose one or the other, depending on your size, like if you paint in journals and you do a lot of mixed media, multimedia, that kind of stuff, then you might choose only the 6x6. But if you do a variety, things change when you go from 6x6 to 12x12.
Yes.
12x12 enters into big, but it's like little big. And then you don't need things that are super big because then they also are very difficult to hang or store. But the 12x12 is just a really nice middle ground between big and little.
Yeah.
And I think those are two really good choices. So you can start your collection. You can put the little press on them, start a book of patterns, and get yourself going. It's so great. Pattern stencils are amazing.
Carol asked, could you have put the dot stencil on diagonally to make it fit? I don't know if it would have or not.
I don't know that it would have been different because it's kind of diagonal.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. My brain can't do that one, Carol. Not right now. I don't know if it would be different. Like
you put the corners
That way?
like,
Yeah,
Is it
maybe.
like-
If you lift it up a little bit more, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
corners
But I
like
think
this.
doing the overlay, I think fixes that problem. You know, so I think that works out okay. But I'm just looking at it, would the pattern be different? Like I was thinking about pattern, not about the
Yeah.
corners. But interesting.
It
That's
would've
a
been a
good
little-
thought.
yeah.
But I like just overlapping them. I think that works really well. I'm going to shoot this because we're going to paint the letters on top. And we're going to talk about that. Okay, so now letters. So on our listings, on our website, we have two things that go on. We tell you the Mylar size. So we're gonna say that it's a 13 by 18 stencil or whatever this is. And then we're gonna tell you down in the description, a lot of times we skip those descriptions, but if you go down in that description, mainly it's gonna be on probably 3,000 stencils ago, we started making sure we did this on every listing. So we didn't necessarily go back and fix everything. So you might see things that don't have it. If you have questions, our customer service is the best. Stephanie is absolutely stellar about answering questions. Carrie gets onto social and answers everything every day. So we are good at that. Very, very, very good. Anyway. But it will tell you what the inner dimensions of things are, like what that art is. So that's going to give you some information that you'll want. I.e., if I have a tape measure and I go across here, and this is, say, 15 inches across, right? So if the art on this stencil is less than 15 inches, so the art on the stencil is 10.5 inches. So that will be listed on your description information. And so you'll know that this word cannot be bigger than that inside dimension on the website. Or if the Mylar is less than your surface size, then you'll know that is true as well. So you just want to look for something that will fit within. And then if you need the up and down of it, I'm not sure if it says both measurements. I can't remember if it does or not. But we want to just do the boo. And so we want to, now I'm going to use my T-square and show you a little tricky poo. So when we're trying to make things straight, we have two straights on this board. We have this line and we have the stencil line. So if I line this guy up, and I'll kind of hold it down there. And then I want to see if my Mylar stays straight. My Mylar is currently straight this way, and my line is straight this way, so this is gonna be my straight. Okay, but now I think I wanna pull it down. So we're just gonna be careful.
So with this design specifically, the Beautiful, it has the actual cutout size of artwork, and it shows the, which one is that, _2.
Yep.
The cutout actual size is 11 by 16.5, even though the stencil itself is a 12 by 18. So it'll tell you the inside of the artwork and the outside of the entire stencil. Now there are some that we have that tell the specific height of things, and those are primary, like
the
letter stencils,
alphabet
some of our
stencils.
letter stencils, and our vegetable and fruit labels, those garden markers.
Yeah, that was important. Okay, so now we're gonna do our lettering on top. So I used my T-square. T-square, invaluable tool. These T-squares are gotta be going on 10 to 8 years old. I just use them and use them and use them. They clean up. If you get paint on them, they're just, please get some T-squares.
Yeah, and we have
I
two
don't care
different,
who's T-squares, just get T-squares.
we have two different sizes that we offer. We have a 12-inch and an 18-inch T-square.
Yeah, it's amazing, amazing tool. Okay, we're gonna use the multi-maskers so that we don't ghost ourselves. Here we are back with the ghosting. Ta-da! And so then I flipped my towel over so that my black is on the other side, and then I can be free with my white color. So white over these dark colors, I'm a little bit actually concerned. I think I'm gonna back up and go gray, because I think I'm gonna have a problem covering that black. Gray has just enough pigment in it that it's going to do a little bit better job of covering, and then I'll do the white over the gray. And honestly, I don't know that this wouldn't be, this is exactly the time I would use a dauber to do my stenciling. Now, I will have to be careful about ghosting up here. I can use the other side of my Mylar also as a mask, and I can just create a little masky poo up there, and then down here I'll use that. So, oops, going into this guy. So I'm gonna go with the gray because these holes are so big, right? When you have a really big space, it's easy for your brush to leave little round marks everywhere. And then the dauber also covers better than just the brush. So it'll cover those black marks way better than my brush would do. The brush is very scant and very faint, and that's really what you want. Like we say, stenciling is a layers game, and it's absolutely true. So you don't want to glom on the paint. So look at how well that covered the black. Like, I think that really did a really great job. And now we'll come over here.
A gift from Elaine.
Okay.
Oh,
Cute.
yes.
Hang on just a second. I'm gonna get these guys based and then we'll talk about that. That's super sweet. You guys, Elaine says hi. She is busy working
brings
so
gifts.
hard. Bringing gifts, bearing gifts.
So we had a question. Our friend Vicky said, is there a certain video I should watch for the reverse stencil technique? And so that is where your background is going to be one color and then your letters are also going to be one color. So I do have a video that I've done with the coffee and bricks that shows that, but that can be, that was hard for me to get my head around.
Yeah.
So I know that it's going to be hard for others to get their head around too, because we do this every day and I had to really sit and think. So the trick on that is you're going to want a round or square just cut out, and we offer the round cutouts.
Yeah.
So you'll paint your background and then you'll paint your round cutout and then you will stencil over it in the same color as your background.
It's interesting when you do that. Okay, so here's Elaine's little gift. This is the smallest little ghost size with the faces used. So this is super sweet. You can take the little pumpkin faces, the ghost faces, any of that kind of stuff, and you can put them on your cutouts. Is that not the best?
Super cute.
It's super fun. I love that. Okay, so now we'll do a next coat. I'm going to, if I was doing this at home myself, I would ram out all of that gray, and then I would go into my white. I'll flip this over so I get a clean side, and then I would neutralize that paint. And I actually think I'll probably just go with this because it's neutralizing really well. So I'm really pushing, like when I showed the thing where I really pushed over here, I'm pushing 10 times more than that pushing. Okay, so I'm really trying, I don't want to overload this applicator. And then sometimes you'll even see me when I get this, so I even will go around the edge and give it a little bit of a rim excess remover. And then go there, and now we're gonna go right back on top. One thing to note, if your letters stay wet, so Bill Nye the Science Guy, way back when my kids were little, says that water is attracted to water, and that is why a wet sponge picks up water or a spill better than a dry sponge, okay? So a wet applicator and a wet project will be attracted to each other, and they will kind of meld together, and then one will pick up the paint from the other, and it becomes like a little bit of a mess. So spend a second, give it a blow dry, and you will save all your extra time that you have to fix things. Okay, I think that's good. And then this is our ghosting rag here. And then watch how quickly the white becomes perfect. Now we talked about doing a drop shadow on this. I don't like to drop shadow live because I have to stop and really think. And if I'm mouthing and talking and doing all at the same time, I don't do a good job of that. So note that drop shadows take a little hot second of focus. And then once you know how to do it, like you know how, but like I don't do it every single day. Yeah. So I just have to stop and think, and I can't think and talk, apparently.
So if there is a technique like drop shadow that you are wanting to see, you can go to our YouTube channel, and across the top of our YouTube channel, so there's a really cute picture at the top, and then it has our logo and some info. And then there are tabs. They say home, videos, shorts, live, and then there's a little arrow. If you click the arrow to the furthest right, then there's a magnifying glass. And if you click on the magnifying glass, you can search. So if you go there and look up drop shadow, then several videos and playlists show up with different drop shadows. So everything from how to drop shadow everything, like a bunny, or how to drop shadow a few letters, or how to triple drop shadow. We have a ton of videos there.
Love it. All right, let's reveal.
Ready.
And we're just gonna peel off layer by layer. And so we'll peel that guy off. So that's how you make a mask out of any straight edge of your stencil. Anything that's got a good boundary, even these smaller ones. This has got a huge, because of the gargoyle on top, it's got this huge border. So you could totally use that as a straight edge or a masker. So that is wonderful. And then now we'll peel this guy off. And because we used the gray underneath, the white did one coat.
Yep.
One coat. Gotta say, just the best. Okay, so now this feels dry enough. I'm not gonna glue this together. I'm gonna show you how I would glue it together because it's just still like slightly tacky. But we're going to flip this over. We're gonna put it on something like a towel or a piece of Mylar or something. And we're going to use our tacky glue. And we would, or I really like the other one too. Yeah, the tacky glue that comes upside down. So they come both ways, and both are pretty much the same thing. But I love that this is upside down and everything is pushed to the point. And so you would just put that on in a little thread.
And the only reason I didn't use that one is because my camera was set up in front of that drawer, and I did not want to move my camera to get the glue.
Yeah.
So I did not think ahead.
And then this is our Appalachia fix for when you lose the lid.
Put a piece
of tape over it, you know. So, but yeah, you do get that on there, and then you're going to flip it over, and Bob's your little uncle there, and that is our project. And so this is how you mix and match your. This would look way better with the black.
The drop shadow.
Yeah, the drop shadow.
Yeah, it would really pop with all the different layers.
Yeah. But look at how fun that is. So you took something that's polka dot, you took something off of another stencil, and you took an embellishment, and we love all of the embellishments.
Yes, so I do have two things before we go.
Yeah.
One, use one of your brushes to help sweep off some of the glitter if it starts coming off, if you don't spray it very well, apparently. And so you can do that. I also wanted to show this one because around the edge of that, I intentionally made it messy for this purpose so that you could see if with our rounds that we send out, most of them have the black around the edging because they are laser cut. So when you get to painting them and stacking them,
you might have
some bleed
a little
over.
bit. Where am I going to get this best? Okay. So we're going to go right here. And so what we can do is just take an ink sweeper and glasses.
Making me think Oreo.
And then the ink sweeper is going to take right care of, I'm painting upside down and backwards. Ink sweeper on edges, if you ever need to patch any edge, ink sweeper is your best friend. Guys, just a little bucket of a couple dollars each. Just add one to your cart every time you buy something. You will not regret having them. And then these guys have been to conventions and trade shows, and they look janky as all get out right there on the edges, and things have dried because they weren't washed right away or they weren't sunk in the water.
Sink 'em in the
Sinking
water.
is very important.
Yes.
But still super flexible, super awesome. They're amazing. So that is how you'll fix your edges, and you need that in your life because you will be like, I'm going to have one of those. Yeah. So great. You guys, thank you for joining us today. We're so happy that you were here, and we will see you. Also, one more thing. Make sure if you have groups that you belong to for painting and stuff like that, make sure you share with them, because we do this for everybody in the DIY world, painting world, and we'd love to share with all your friends.
Absolutely.